This is the Forest of Hawthorn, Lesson 4, Akashic Records. What are the Akashic Records? This lesson will hopefully give you the basic techniques and information needed to start your own journey into exploring the Akashic Records. It does only scratch the surface of the details. This is a huge subject, and if you are prompted, you may want to explore further outside of this lesson. Akasha or Akasha is a Sanskrit word that translates as primary substance, primordial substance, cosmos or sky. The Bible refers to it as the Book of Life. Ancient Egyptians called it the Hall of Two Truths or the Repository of Thoth or Tehote. The Book of Remembrance is Jewish, and today's spiritual folk call it the Akashic Record of the Hall of Records. It is the memory of the universe, a library of events stretching back and forward over time. It is a record of everything that happened in the past, is happening now, and will happen in the future, or possible futures. The records chronicle the sole purpose and pathway for every individual person. It is fluid, growing, and evolving. It isn't just a record of your life, but you can interact with it. Seeking information from the records can help you heal past issues, find answers to issues, glean advice and insight, and look forward to the future for inspiration and guidance. It can provide you with personal growth and development, inspiration, support, and guidance in all areas of your life. The records can also show you past lives and your sole purpose going forward in life. The records are open and available to anyone and everyone that seeks them. I like to see the Akashic Records as an enormous ancient library filled with books, a book for each person. But this is probably a very simplistic view of such a vast network of information. Three key people led the way for bringing Akashic Records to us everyday folk: Madame Blavatsky, Edgar Cayce, and Dion Fortune. They all worked with the records, but in slightly different ways. Madame Blavatsky and Dion Fortune had spiritual guides or higher beings who imparted information to them and gave them guidance. Madame Blavatsky used meditation and breathing practices to access the records. Edgar Cayce used himself as a channel, allowing higher beings and his own higher self to speak through him using meditation and trance methods, although he had no recollection of what he said after he came out of the trance. Dion Fortune used the method of astral travel, sending herself into a trance to access the records. So how do you access the Akashic Records? There are many ways, and each of us the ability to enter and access the records for ourselves. Try different methods such as meditation, channeling, remote viewing, and astral projection. See which one works for you. You will need to use your full intuition and focus on your senses. Quite often, practitioners use a prayer to help them open the gateway. The power of the words used as a key. If you are a Reiki practitioner, you may like to try using Reiki symbols as your key. If you are reading the records for yourself, then you have already given permission. But if you are looking into the records for another person, you must ask their permission first. You won't gain access otherwise. To be able to access the records requires practice and focus along with spiritual ethics and integrity. I would recommend a few guidelines before attempting to open the records. Do not drink alcohol or use recreational drugs before accessing the records. Both of these will affect the stability of your energy and distort your perception. It is not responsible or appropriate in this situation. Always use your current legal name or the legal name of any person you are asking on behalf of. It also helps to use your full name, including any middle names. Give yourself enough time to adjust, focus, and read the information properly. This isn't a 5-minute meditation. Ground yourself after every reading. It will help to shift you back to reality properly and not leave you lightheaded. And always, always ask permission before opening the records for someone else. If you are reading for someone else, please do respect their privacy and confidence. I would also suggest that this isn't wise or ethical to open records of children, those under 18. Give yourself time to learn the process and become comfortable with it. You may find you can't access everything at first. Work with it. The answers or information you are given from the records for the future is not definite. The details are written in sand, not stone. The outcome can change depending on your own decisions and your choices. Remember that the Akashic records are fluid, so time is not really a linear concept. Asking questions about when something will happen are not going to get straight answers from the records. Neither are questions that require a straight yes or no answer. The answer is affected by whatever choices you make or actions that you take. You may find that you'll reincarnate with the same group of people time and time again. Vows, promises, and pacts you made from the past can affect your pathway today, whether good or bad. Some of these may need to be addressed and resolved. The record keepers. Obviously, such a huge wealth of knowledge has some kind of security guards. These are the record keepers, or the guardians of the records, sometimes called the 12 pillars, often said to be 12 beings who have taken on the responsibility of looking after the hall. They'll become your guides through the records, but are also there to keep out any unwanted energies and inquiries, to keep your records private from others that have not been given permission. And they also help answer any questions you have and assist with translating information. Although each person may see the keepers differently, the general consensus seems to be they are all very tall, with long hair, beards, and wear flowing robes. You may see them another way. Others suggest that there are different levels within the record keepers, those that are the lords of the records, who work on a universal level. These are the main security guards who decide who can come in and who cannot. They also make the decisions about what information to release. The next level down are the masters. These guys work with the individual souls. They are the ones that decide from the very start of your life what your pathway will be, and they are with you for the whole way. Your master or masters, you can have more than one, will know who to call upon to give you guidance. Then there are the teachers. These are brought in by your master for specific situations and issues. They bring life lessons with them. Lastly are your loved ones, those people that you knew or are related to in this lifetime who have now passed over. They won't interfere or provide information, but they may pop in from time to time to let you know they are around and supporting you. Opening the records. You will need to be ready to attune to the records, and that takes an open and honest heart and mind, because you'll be tuning into higher levels of truth. Remember that what you see is a record of what you have done, thought, experienced, and said. These are your perceptions. It is not a reflection of the absolute truth, but of your experience of it. It is also important to know that whilst in the records you cannot, I repeat, you cannot ever pick up negative or evil entities or attachments. You are in a place of divine light and spirituality. Negative or evil entities do not exist there. What should you expect to hear, see, or feel? Each person may have a slightly different experience, and each person will see the records as they are meant to. You might receive messages straight into your mind. They may be in the form of words, phrases, sentences, or sounds. The information may be given in a straightforward manner, or it might be cryptic and up to you to interpret the meaning. You may also see images, pictures, or symbols. You might even get a video clip of events. Again, it might be clear to understand or may need some deciphering. Emotions may also affect you, or physical feelings in different parts of your body. Know that nothing can hurt or harm you. The prayer process. If the idea of speaking a prayer to help you open the gateway to the records appeals, then this is the process to follow. Create your own prayer words, something that has real meaning to you. The prayer will be your key to opening the records, a way of switching your subconscious from this reality into the spiritual realm, and if it works best, if it's said out loud. Create your own prayer. Begin by addressing whatever spiritual or divine connection you prefer. Next, ask for guidance, focus, and the confidence and courage to know and understand the truth, and that you will use the information for the greater good. You might like to ask for protection against your own ego when receiving and deciphering the messages, and not to become distracted. Ask for spiritual awareness to know and understand yourself, and to be seen as you are in the records. Then to be able to share any knowledge or wisdom that you discover. Next comes the part when you ask for direct access to your own or someone else's records by asking to be shown the information. You will need to state your full legal name and then the name of the person you are seeking information for if it isn't for yourself. Finish your opening prayer with the words, "The records are now open." My opening prayer may look something like this. I wholeheartedly acknowledge the force of the Divine Goddess in all things and ask for direction and guidance along with the courage to know and understand the truth and to use that information for the greater good. I ask that the Divine protect me from my ego self and focus my energy to the situation concerned. Help me to understand and know my own self, to see myself as the Divine and the keepers of the records see me. Allow me to share the wisdom and knowledge that I am shown, and to know the love and compassion of the Goddess. Help me to know and understand, and you put your own name in the Akashic records. To be able to see, put your own name, through the eyes of the record keepers, the masters and the teachers, and to allow me to share in that wisdom and knowledge. Help me to know and understand with my thanks to the Divine. The records are now open. You will also need a prayer to close the records once you are finished. Something along these lines works well, but please do feel free to adapt it so it feels right for you. With my absolute thanks to the Divine, the record keepers, the masters and teachers for their support and compassion, I give my thanks for the information given from the records, for all knowledge and healing that has been freely given. The records are now closed. If you are reading for someone else, you may like to keep some of the prayer said quietly to yourself rather than out loud. I say the first part of the prayer quietly to myself, up to including the line, "and to know the love and compassion of the Goddess." Then out loud I will say, "Help me to know and understand," and insert the person's full name in the Akashic records. To be able to see, again insert the person's full name through the eyes of the record keepers. And to allow me to share in that wisdom and knowledge from their record keepers, their masters and teachers. Help me to know and understand with my thanks to the Divine. The records are now open. A meditation. I like to work with a meditation first if you have never accessed the records before, and also continue to use the image I discovered as my access once the prayer is said. Sometimes I just work with a meditation rather than the prayer, particularly if I'm just accessing the records for my own use. You can work with this meditation to help find your guide, if there is one, and not everyone meets a guide, and to set a scene that will become familiar to you on each journey. I find it makes each visit easier and the records much simpler to access. There follows on the lesson PDF a recording and written meditation. Helpful notes. Your past lives are all recorded in the records. They may help shed some light on your present life. Look out for people in the records, what they are wearing, and hints as to what job they did or what time period they are from. Keep an eye out for symbols or activities that represent hobbies, activities, or fears. Look for patterns and cycles or emotions that can give a clue to past lives. It can be a bit of a jigsaw that needs piecing together. The record's going to help you heal issues and character traits in this life. You just need to recognize and discover the underlying problems that cause them. How you think, act, and react all affect your present life and who you are as a person. Try and look at the bigger picture or get a different perspective. Changing cycles or patterns is hard work and requires us to change, which isn't always easy. Gaining insight from the records can help us with that process. Discovering your purpose in life can give you a real direction and focus. Your life purpose can be shown to you via the records, but it may not be clear at first. You may have to analyse past lives, current strengths, and life events to find it. Life will give you challenges. These are all set in order to help you grow. They are not about being rewarded or punished. Homework. Do some research. What is your understanding of what the Akashic records are? Write a paragraph, explaining. Include information and your view on the record keepers versus the lords, the masters and the teachers. 2. Write your own opening and closing prayer. And 3. Work with the lesson meditation and record your experiences. And homework for each lesson should be emailed to your mentor, Ness or Heather, support@kitchenwitchhearth.net.